The Houston Texans just signed another athletic freak, and I really like this. This guy is athletic, and I'm going to prove it to you. If you're new to the channel, we're Detroit Lions fans, but we have this channel covering teams that just kind of get overlooked. We know what it's like to kind of be the butt of the jokes, and so we cover a couple teams on this channel that just kind of get ignored by the national media, the Texans being one of them. So it's just an unbiased look into your team. All right, here is who they signed, and I'm going to prove that this dude is better than we all think, and he's got something to him. So by now, maybe you've heard, but the free agent linebacker Jacob Phillips to a 1-year deal. Now, here's the deal about this guy. He was drafted in 2020. Now, I'm oddly fascinated with guys that came out during COVID because it was so weird. You know, time has passed, and I know we haven't forgotten about it, but it's like, you realize how weird it was. So you're drafted in 2020. You don't really play. Season's cut short. Weird stuff. And so I kind of give them the benefit of the doubt. And I feel like there's some things in there that it's like, hey, wait a second. You're drafted in 2020. You've got injury history. Who doesn't really? I mean, that's the thing we got to get over. It's like, oh, he's been injured. Well, yeah, and that's part of how you can get him a little cheaper and a low risk. So he's only played 13 total games, and he had a season-ending bicep and pec injury. Another low risk, potential high reward for D'Amico, it says here. Totally agree. But if you dig into this guy a little bit further, it's like, you know what? I like this guy. So just a couple things on him. LSU, 6'3", 230. Good size, kind of a slender linebacker, more built for speed, agility, explosiveness, and we'll get to that in just a second. But as a freshman, true freshman at LSU in 2017, back when they're just rolling, he played in every game, 18 tackles. Sophomore, he started every game but one. As a junior, he led the team in tackles, and then he goes to the NFL draft. He's picked in the 3rd round. Now, he's had injuries with the Cleveland Browns, and that's been the thing why you haven't heard about him or forgot about him. National champion in 2019. That's when he's picked up by the Browns, and then he goes on injured reserves for a biceps injury in 21. In 22, a pec injury. And then in 23, he was placed on injured reserve. I don't know what he had there. Maybe re-aggravated his stuff. So, been injured a lot, no question. But in the 2022 season, he did come in for Anthony Walker from the Browns and started 4 games. So he'll start and get in. But let's take a look at his explosiveness and why I say this guy's kind of getting overlooked in the explosiveness category. Let me pull up his RAS score when he came out of LSU. So the RAS score is your relative athletic score, and it's the best possible score you can get is a 10. You can see he got an 8.2. But if you dig deeper into the numbers, he got absolutely killed on the 3-cone drill. So they say that his agility is okay because that RAS score there was really bad on the 3-cone drill. And they don't like his weight. They say his weight is okay. But his explosion grade is elite. Vertical jump, broad jump. Love that. Plus, he's got good speed. I think that's perfect, right? I would love if he ran a 4.5 40, but fine. 4.6, 21 mile per hour on the 40-yard dash. I like everything I see here. You take away that 3-cone drill, and if he's 10 pounds heavier, I mean, this guy's going to be at a 9 out of 10. So I love to see when you can get these guys when you can get them. Get high-end, low-risk dudes all the time. And the reason I know this is because this is the method that Brad Holmes of the Detroit Lions has used to turn the Lions around. Everybody wants good players. Everybody's trying to get good players. Where do you get, like, how do I get guys that can help me rebuild? What's that little competitive advantage? He went out, signed really high upside guys, just like this guy is, for a 1-year deal, and all the guys had really bad injury history. So it's a 1-year deal. Worst case, best case scenario, right? On every player, you look at that. Worst case scenario on this guy, on Stephon Diggs, they're terrible. They're terrible in the locker room. Okay, fine. You're gone after this year. Best case scenario, they play their tail off. You get to know them. They know you, and you are happy to sign them again next offseason. The 1-year deal is the way to go. And really in the NFL, aside from a couple of guys, everybody kind of is on a 1-year deal anyway because of the contracts and the way they work. So it's fine. Like, I'll sign you to a 1-year deal. You've got injury history. Now we add you to Danielle Hunter, Joe Mixon, Stephon Diggs, Jeff Okuda, perfect trade or signing there. And we're just infusing our team with these high upside guys. If they work, I mean, unbelievable. If they don't, fine. We'll try more guys next offseason because it doesn't matter. We have our quarterback that accounts for, I mean, if this is doing a lot of visuals with my hands, if the screen here is like the talent that you need to fill, CJ Stroud alone fills it up to here. This is what you're trying to find. Where other teams, if you don't have a quarterback, you're trying to get this formula in your bucket filled. CJ Stroud fills it 80, 90% of the way. Now you're adding these pieces to see if it works. So you add an athletic dude from LSU that I just think if you're a Texans fan, you're getting more and more excited. Every player that they add, it's like take swings. I've been saying this all throughout as we've been making Texans videos. Take swings because you've got the quarterback, you've got the coach, you've got the culture, and then from there you can figure it out. Okay. Next thing I wanted to talk about was, and I'm going to do a separate video on this topic, but there's an article out from the Commanders website, and it went through 3 critical ways the Commanders can follow the Texans rebuilding blueprint. So it's pretty interesting to see how another team is noticing the Texans and what they're doing. And so they go in here and they go into depth, and I'll go into this later in another video. Be looking for it probably tomorrow. But they lay out and you get to see from an outsider's perspective. So you got a Detroit Lions podcaster referencing a Commanders article talking about the Texans. Just, yeah, that's what we got here. But they talk about 3 ways that the Texans have rebuilt this thing. And it's interesting as you watch or as you read the article, and we'll go through it here real quick. But you got to nail the quarterback. But it's interesting. My point was, as you go through this, it's like, oh yeah, they did do that. They nailed that. Nail the franchise QB. So the Commanders have an opportunity. It's going to be Jaden Daniels, right, or Drake May, just like the Texans had. Now the Texans got lucky, or you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the guy that fell to them. They took him. Fine. But they're going to have a chance to pick. Continue their roster turnover. I think when you're in a rebuild, it's like, turn the roster. What are we doing? Guys, they're like, well, get out of here. Well, I don't know. Maybe he could work. Just get him out of here. And then the third one, you have to watch the video for the third way. But I love it. Make sure you subscribe if you're a Texans fan, because we're going to have a lot of coverage on the draft and can't wait to see who the Texans pick up. They got a lot of picks, and it'll be really interesting to see what happens. Hope you've enjoyed this video, and we'll see you